We're about to go population negative. China's supposedly going to be 600 million people by the turn of the century. By the turn of the century in the US, get this, we're going to have 6 times as many people over the age of 80 and half as many kids under the age of 5, meaning the nursery schools will be like zoos with people sitting outside of them looking through fences, marveling at these creatures they don't see out in their natural habitat. And the reality is our productivity peaks at about 44. The nations that have gone into population decline, Japan and Italy, have seen registered really negative consequences on their economy. And the question is, how are we going to produce the productivity to take care of this increasingly aging workforce? In addition, and I want to be clear, I got a lot of pushback on this because people equate population growth with climate change. And if you look at climate change, it's really not as much a function of population growth as it is the lifestyle and energy choices of the rich. But at the end of the day, we're going to have to create a context, more economic security, more possibilities for young people should they choose to have kids, because essentially what's happening is people are deciding not to have kids. And my thesis is not that they don't want them, it's that they can't afford them. Kid now costs about $350,000. And each year, the wealth of youth has been cut in half. The percentage, the wealth controlled by people under the age of 40 as a percentage of GDP has gone from 19% to 9%. The biggest tax deductions, mortgage tax, interest, or capital gains, are taxes that old people enjoy. Who owns stocks and owns their home? Old people. Who rents and makes their income from sweat? Young people. So if we want to have a population that continues to be productive and, quite frankly, creative, we're in a lot of 70-plus-year-olds at the Grammys. The majority of Nobel Prize winners in science and economics is based on work that they did in their PhD during their doctorate. We need a country that has youth and feels good about the future and builds families. I want to be clear, the onus is not on any one group or any one gender to have babies. I don't think anyone should feel guilty. It's no one's fault, if you will, or if it is someone's fault, it's that we haven't created the same economic opportunity that our generation had and the choices to have a family if they want. But if we go into population decline, I think we're really going to struggle as a society to maintain the productivity, the lifestyle, the money for climate change, and the investments we need. I think it's a huge issue.
The demographic explosion that is still being seen around the world is mostly in the poor countries, right? I mean, Africa is going to add another billion to 3 billion people by 2100. India is still a very positive demographic expansion. Those are poor countries. And to the extent that human capital can be harnessed, it's going to be a very positive thing for the world. It's also going to have resource stress attached to it. We're going to go from 8 billion certainly to post 10 billion over that period of time. But you're right, there's going to be shrinkage. And one big question is, do the United States change? Because the U.S. isn't just about demographics. Historically, it's also been about immigration. And yet, the political drivers in the United States has been in, we don't want those people, even though a lot of those people have done some pretty extraordinary things in building the country.
You're exactly right. It feels like immigration is the answer to a lot of this. A third of market cap of the NASDAQ is by first-generation immigrants. 20% of the market cap of the NASDAQ is Indian immigrants. Microsoft, MasterCard, Adobe, all Indian immigrants. And the notion that we would take this secret sauce. We're a football team that gets the number one draft choice every year and says, no, we don't want them. If you think about the notion of just how crazy it is to turn away or not have a much more open immigration policy, the biggest issue on people's minds is inflation. And the key component right now, the stubborn part of inflation, is wage growth. And so immigration, is sort of would help abate that or assuage that issue. The issues.
Yeah, the biggest demographic disasters in the world right now, from a wealthy country perspective, Japan and South Korea. The Japanese absolutely refuse to allow immigration to be a part of the solution, and so they've done nothing, and it's getting worse. South Korea has a better trajectory, but in part because they've actually opened the borders.
But hasn't that at the end of the day, and it sounds very passe, hasn't that been our secret weapon? Is that we're open to these incredibly bright, ambitious, hardworking people who are willing to, quite frankly, work harder for less money than us? I mean, it just feels like, again, okay, you can have every first round draft choice. No, we don't want them. We're going to demonize them. It makes absolutely no sense.